I wanted a bike that would go 45 miles an hour at least, because I feel like a lot of the bikes under that looked like somebody's grandma's bike or something. And I wanted,
Amsterdam, you have to register your bike. They do have the speed limit caps in Amsterdam, but Amsterdam has a phenomenal bike infrastructure. This is why it drives me insane when people go on there and say, I can't make money with DoorDash. I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money doing gig work. What's going on, Wolf family? Welcome back to the channel where we ride, we hustle, we repeat. Today, I got some very interesting stories that I want to talk about. So let me start here real quick. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about some new releases that are out. In fact, they're coming to the channel, so that's one reason. Another reason why I want to talk about it. But again, for those, if this is the first time watching the channel, my name is Fernando, and in this channel, we talk about e-bikes, we talk about making money with e-bikes, and we talk about having fun and going on adventures. And tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about three major companies that have three major releases of e-bikes that, in my opinion, have really shaken up the e-bike industry. So we're going to talk about first Magician and how Magician is celebrating their first anniversary. Second, we're going to talk about Wired, because I think Wired has made the biggest moves in the e-bike industry with two new models in their lineup. And then finally, we're going to be talking about probably the most futuristic e-bike released today, which is the AOTOS X26 Pro or X26. I happen to have the X26 Pro. But let's begin with Magician Alpha. They are celebrating their first year anniversary. And here's what makes me laugh every time I think about Magician. Last year around this time, there was people, one person in particular, who kept going on YouTube saying the Magician is a scam. She drove me insane. Thank God I don't see her on my feed anymore. But Magician isn't a scam. In fact, they are producing some phenomenal bikes. My Magician Alpha Mini in particular, right now in my fleet, is my number one bike. I have categories of bikes. For example, in the budget, on the budget side, the Vic Trip R6 Pro is probably my favorite 16 by 4-inch fat tire budget e-bike. Then we have the DTTZH F6 Pro is my favorite budget moped style e-bike. And on the long range side, long range bikes, my Anioki, the A8 72 volt is my favorite. And then when you're talking about overall moped style e-bikes, you can't beat the GOAT bikes. And my Motor GOAT and my Mini GOAT in particular are my favorite. But overall, my go-to bike, the bike that I reach out and whenever I want to ride, or if I want to hustle and really make some money, I grab that Magician Alpha Mini. It's my favorite. But let's go over to their website, because for their first year anniversary, let's bring this up. They have some huge discounts. So right now, if you get the Alpha, the full-size Alpha, you get $200 off. And keep in mind, if you use my affiliate link, you get an additional discount on top of that. So if you're looking to get a Magician Alpha, now's the time to do it, because I don't think you're going to see a better price than what you're currently seeing today on the Magician Alpha. One quick second. Let me see something. Yeah. So, and then as we go along, if you look with the new Alphas, there's a bundle, you get, which for me is huge. You get turn signals now. Now, because I've already had my Alpha, the original batch of the Alpha, I don't have those turn signals, but I'm going to see if they sell them, so I can put those turn signals on my Alpha. But man, I really like Magician as a company. They've been very responsive. I personally have not had any issues, but I know some people had some minor issues, but they've been very responsive. And that's huge, right? You want a company to be very responsive. So anyways, I'm a big fan of the bikes. My only negative to the bike, and I only have really one negative to the bike, is that it has a dual battery system with the rear rack battery. I am not a fan of rear rack batteries. I much rather have them put that battery like the Ranger, even though they're not around anymore, but the Whip, right? Who took over that model? How they have that additional battery on top of the down tube. I much rather have that. It's not as pretty. It doesn't look as good. Aesthetically, it's not as nice. But it's more practical, more functional. That rear rack battery, number one, is too damn small. It's only 10 amp hours. I would prefer it to be like 20 amp hours, and again, put it on the top tube. But it makes the weight distribution a little bit off. Although I gotta tell you, that Magician Alpha rides like a beauty, man. 50 plus miles an hour. There's no death wobble. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Magician Alpha. Again, and let's go over a couple of new features that they have, right? If you look on their website, it comes with what they're referring to as Power Smart Control System. As you can see there, they have the Find now with the Bluetooth. You can add it to your Apple Find Mine, which I think it's a big plus. If somebody takes your bike, you can track that bike, right? It has the controller motor communication system that now communicates with the battery as well. So currently on my model, on the display, you can see the battery, but you only see one battery bar. So you don't, even though the batteries run in unison, you don't see what the percentage is on each battery. But with the new system, you'll get two battery bars, one representing the rear rack and one representing the front battery, the battery in the down tube. And it'll tell you where each battery individually, where they are in terms of their charge. Man, I think that's huge. That's a big upgrade. What else did they put on here? Let me see if there's anything additional. So communication, Apple Find My, AOTOS update capacity, allows for key electronic components to communicate. We just talked about that. And I already mentioned the turn signals, right? So those are some big upgrades for the bike. All their bikes right now are on sale, but the Alpha is on the. If you're a big rider and you want that Alpha, that's even more on sale. But again, if you right now the Mini is at $24.99. If you use my discount code, you can get it for $23.99, $100 off. So highly recommend that. If you like the Alpha, you can go ahead and get it. Now let's move on. First, let me check to see if there's any questions. Road trip buddy, the Magician looks great for dashing. Here's I love it, right? I love the bike. I love the way it rides. Love the suspension. But ideally for me, it works because I don't dash a lot of hours. But if you are dashing a lot of hours, like my boy Dumoto, Turbo, Eddie, these guys dash for hours, right? Not ideal. You're not going to get more. If you go balls to the wall, or let's just say you go conservative on that battery. I mean, on the throttle, and you pedal. I think the most the most I've gotten was 40 miles. That's enough for a morning shift, or not, one shift, a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours on it. But it's not ideal. Like, right? I much rather, if I'm going to go out there and dash for 4, 5, 6 hours, I'm taking a long range battery bike like my Anioki. Specifically, my AQ177 that I modded, because that baby goes fast. It's extremely comfortable, and I got the battery. I can ride for days on that thing. So let me see the other questions before I go on. Let me see. Well, buddy, appreciate it too. Appreciate the love. Lorena, appreciate the love. Who else is on here? My boy, yes and no. Appreciate the love there. Julio, Verushka, road trip, buddy. All right, love you guys. Okay, let's move on to what's the top speed you've gotten on the 72. Top speed, I did. It's on my review. I believe I got 50 miles, 49, 50 miles an hour. What's the top speed? I'm at 72. But the top speed, for me, between 40 and 50 miles is more than enough speed on a bike. For me, the torque is important, right? That Magician Alpha, that torque, that smooth acceleration off the line is it's beautiful, right? But that's 72 Anioki. Again, it's on my channel. I put it up against the Mini Goat. I put it up against the Magician Alpha. Nothing beats that 72 Anioki. So far, now I'm waiting, and we're going to go into, this leads me into the next company, which is Wired. They have 2 bikes that I'm super excited about that are coming to the channel. I'm being told that I should be getting the Viper, which is the Predator's mini version. And let's just talk about the Viper first, because I have a feeling that the Viper is going to kick the Anioki's butt, and I don't think any bike is going to be able to touch that Viper. So let's go. Let me bring it up real quick. All right, there goes the Viper, guys. It's a 20 by 4-inch fat tire bike. Again, it's the specs are almost identical, meaning the components, right? The motor and all that, to the Predator, except this is a smaller version and it's a step through, which again, I'm not a big guy. I wasn't a huge fan of my Scout, my Predator, or the Magician Alpha, because the bikes were just too big. And if you follow my channel, and I've crashed twice. Didn't want to crash 3 times, so I sold the big bikes, and I'm keeping the 20-inch. But I'm super excited about this because it's a 72-volt all-wheel drive, has all-wheel drive powertrain on it, and the horsepower on this bike is supposed to be unmatched, like crazy, crazy, crazy powerful. In fact, if you listen to some people that have already tested it, it may be too powerful. But the beauty about Wired bikes is that you can tame them down. So I'm excited about that. It says 50 plus miles an hour, but I'm going to bet that with my size and weight, I can get this bad baby over 60 miles an hour. They're now, the batteries are UL 2271 standard, which is pretty good. 8,000 watt peak power, guys. 8,000 watts, 430 Newton meters of torque. This machine is just insane. So that's that one's going to get here before the Raven, because the next one I want to talk about is the Raven. That Raven, which is the mini version of the Wired Scout. I was a big fan of the Wired Scout, except for the size. Didn't appreciate the size. But here's what we got here, guys. It's a 72 volt system, 5,000 watt peak power, which is the same my motor on my Anioki AQ177 that I modded. I put a 5,000 watt motor on that bad baby. That's why that bike is my workhorse. You know, when I want to dash for a long time, that's the bike that I take. But this, the Raven, and I got this color, guys. I got the white on both the Viper and the Raven. I really like this color. I think in my Magician Alpha is this color. I love the white with the black accent. I just think it looks really, really, really sharp. I'm a big fan of it. But the bike, dual suspension. Suspension is supposed to be better or feel better, not better. It's supposed to feel better than the suspension on the Scout. It comes with the same thing as the Scout. You get the option of switching from torque to cadence. And what I like about this bike and the Viper is they're coming with turn signals front and back, and they upgraded their cadence sensor. I'm not cadence sensor, the torque sensor. Could be the cadence as well, but I know they talked about the torque sensor on it, that it's upgraded. It's supposed to be the bomb. It's supposed to be better than anything. I will let you know when I get it, because, you know, again, super excited. I want to give my props and congratulate Wire for doing this. I know that their CEO, Steve, was kind of hesitant. I don't know if he was putting on an act, but when he was interviewed by Scott Hardesty, it seemed like he was against going with a 20-inch wheel. I don't know why, because I just think they're better machines. 26 by 4 inch, man, that's just, the bikes are just way too big. Now, if you're 6 foot tall or taller, yeah, get the 26. But for me, it was just, the bike was just too big, too powerful. But I like this. And if it's anything like the Magician Alpha, meaning the handling of the bike, if it's anything like the Alpha, I got a feeling, because this has more battery power. The only thing I'm not going to like about it, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, because I hated it about the Scout, is the noise. It has a very loud noise. Some people love it. I hate it. But the handling, the power, the control, I think I'm going to be a very, very big fan of this bike. All right. Any questions on the Wired or Magician before I move on to my next story? Let me look. Yeah, guys, I just saw everyone, please like the video, comment, share it. I also prefer the center kickstand when doing deliveries. Yes, center kickstand, especially when doing deliveries, is important. I can tell you, I've dropped so many bikes because I don't have a center kickstand, or the ones that I don't have that center kickstand on. Love the Magician. Sending love. I like what the Viper offers. Hell yeah. Nice front turn signals. I agree. Those turn signals are phenomenal. Kryptonite. You're always talking about this scooter bike. That's a scooter. That's not a bike. But I saw it. It's phenomenal. I'm with you. It is. That thing looks great. but that's not a bike, guy. That's not a bike. Mike the Dash, what's up, buddy? Bike dashing. Finding a channel that isn't rigged. What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. A channel that isn't rigged. What channel do you think is rigged? Clutch, what's up, brother? How you doing? For distance, yeah, I agree with you about that bike. Yeah. Oh wow, that Raven. I agree with you. Oh wow, that Raven. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'm being told I'm going to get that in. I'm going to get that bike in July. So I'm being told that'll be here in July. All right, let's move on and let's talk about probably the most futuristic bike produced today. Couple of guys already, it's already out. I think you can already purchase it. Although there it is. Although the price has jumped up a lot. If you didn't get in on their crowdfunding phase, you're going to pay for the bike now. But this bike is a lot of fun. It's going to be, in fact, tomorrow morning. I think it's tomorrow morning, or if not tomorrow morning, the next morning, you're going to see a short on this bike. I did a quick short, and then you'll see the reviews. Within 2 weeks, you'll see the review. I just got a lot of stuff coming up on this bike. But let's talk about the bike. Let me go to... So I have the X26 Pro. This bike comes in two versions. It comes the Pro and then the smaller version of it. And we'll talk about some of the specs. It has a 750 watt motor that peaks at 2000 watts, 100 newton meters of torque. The top speed when unlocked is 28 miles an hour. Although I will say this, I didn't get it up to 27 miles an hour. I got it up to 28 miles an hour. I got it up to 27 miles an hour, and I'm light. So I don't know. Now this is that 27 miles. I did it with the GPS. So on the display it said 28, but on my GPS didn't say 28. But anyways, my version it's a 48 volt, 21 amp hour battery. This for me is the biggest disappointment on the bike. First of all, why? I mean, such a beautiful bike. And I'll go into some of the stuff that I really love about it. With all the tech, why a 48 volt, guys? Why did you go with a 48 volt? And more importantly, why a 21 amp hour battery? I mean, that's kind of small. They say the range is up to 70 miles. We will see in my review. Hydraulic brakes. But the best part about the bikes are not the actual specs, is the technology behind the bike. You have GPS capabilities. You have lights that are around or throughout the bike. Alarm system. The display is phenomenal. The actual build of the bike, it feels like a very solid, lightweight, because it's not a heavy bike. Let me see if I can find how much it weighs on their website, because in comparison to the majority of my bikes, it is the lightest. It's very, very light. I would venture to say it's under 100 pounds. I don't see it on their website. If somebody sees it and they can post it in the comments, or I think somebody just put it up, right? But anyways, let's go down the list of, it's got a boost mode, but when you have the bike unlocked, that boost mode doesn't work. I mean, you'll still get the sound, but when it's unlocked, it doesn't give you any extra boost. It has it says an aerospace frame. The frame is phenomenal. There are a lot of plastic parts to it. So I don't know how durable those plastic parts are, but you sit on that bike, it's comfortable. It just feels like a nice, solid bike. Dual hydraulic suspension, which I think the suspension it's really good. Here's the navigation at a glance, right? Has a 5.5-inch TFT smart display. Really like that display. Next, it's very similar or in comparison to the Aoki 60-volt, 72-volt bike, the A8 or the A9, that the type of display. I really like it. I like the app. I normally don't touch or ever download an app. In this case, I did. There's so much you can do with that app that I really like that. The smart security features, it has a built-in GPS tracking, which I really like. It has the alarm I've already talked about. Here goes the wheelbase. It's not a big bike. It may look big, but it's not big. Yeah, I don't see the weight on it. I don't see how heavy it is. But again, right now, and I'm going to kind of spoil it for my review. My two disappointment with the bike, and they go hand in hand. And one, that they made it a 48 volt, only 21 amp hour battery, and then just the top speed. The torque is enough, gives you nice torque, nice pick me up. The ride is smooth. Very, very smooth ride, but you're only going 27, 28 miles an hour. Now, that's a positive and a negative. For me, it's a negative. I live in South Florida. I don't have to worry about cops. But if you live in an area where you have to worry about cops, this is going to be a cop magnet. People are going to look at it. It looks like a freaking motorcycle. So it's going to be a cop magnet, but it's a legal bike. So it's got the 750 watt motors, which is legal nationwide, or at least for right now. And it only goes up to 28 miles an hour. And if you don't unlock it, it only goes up to 20 miles an hour. So it's a very legal bike. You don't have to worry about the cops because it is a cop magnet. But for me, a person that likes speed, it just doesn't work for me. Let me see if there's any questions about that. Clutch, I watched that interview 3 times today, but what interview? Which interview are you talking about? Mike, I'm reviewing a new bike I ordered in the not so distant future. Bring this up because I'm having a hard time seeing them. Bring up the questions, Lorena, please. I'm reviewing a new bike, not so distant future. I just been, busy. Yeah. Okay, Mike says he noticed the display versus the GPS are not always aligned with these bikes. 100%. And I don't even think GPS is very reliable. So if the bike is within 1 or 2 miles an hour, for me, that's the display is spot on. Because I can tell you, oh shit, I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, I've actually had my bikes radared. If you guys know, my son's a cop. And I have a lot of friends that are cops. We've actually radared these bikes, and the GPS is often not the best indicator. So AOTOS is very nice looking bike. I also like the Black Warrior, but they need to get the power up. Yes, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. It's 70 miles and a 21 amp hour. Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna happen at all. It says the bike is 112 pounds. Okay, that it feels much lighter than 112. I thought if it was right around 100 pounds, but if the website says 112, it's 112. And again, I got the bigger one because there's a smaller version of this bike. but yeah, it's really nice. I'm looking forward to the Raven. Hell yeah, so am I. I still think the Black Warrior e-bike is absolutely one of the best looking e-bikes I've ever seen. I'm with you, man. That bike is a very good looking bike, especially custom work posted on Facebook page. A mind-blowing 5,000 watt motor upgrade. Yeah, the problem, here's the deal, right? Because I actually, initially after, but then I started thinking about it doesn't make sense. On this AOTOS bike, I actually was thinking about keeping the bike and then just modding it, right? Putting a bigger motor in the back. But the problem with that is that what makes this bike unique is the electronics, right? If you mod it, if you put a different motor on it, different far driver, you just got rid of what makes the bike really unique and nice. The only other option would be, but there's going to be problems with it. I've been talking to Andy, aka Raspy Rides, Dumoto, and JB360, which are my 3 go-to guys when it comes to modding bikes and keeping a lot of the original components, right? So I go to them for the knowledge. And the other option is to add a front motor, right, to the bike with a separate driver, separate battery to that bike, and then you have a separate throttle. So you're gonna have two throttles. Andy did this. Dumoto did this with his A8. Andy did it with his AQ177. But some drawbacks. One of the things that Andy was telling me that it'll fight that rear motor. So because they're capped. So it's not ideal. So I'm definitely not going to mod this bike. Most likely I will sell the bike, especially now that the bike is on their website is $2,200. So I would definitely sell it. But okay, yeah, GPS can be very unreliable. They claim to use precise tracking location, yet they move. Yes, yeah, you're right. It's not. I don't find it to be super reliable at all. All right, a couple of things I want to talk about before I close for today. And then if you guys still have questions, put them on here. The Onyx RX, I have the Onyx, the 80-volt bike. It's a phenomenal bike. It's super fast, super powerful. I just don't ride it. I don't know why I don't ride it hardly at all. It's just like my Motor Goat. I haven't ridden my Motor Goat much. They just look too much like motorcycles. And I like to pedal, so I need to, anyways. But yeah, that RCR 80 volt, it's a freaking great bike, but also a bike with a small battery. You don't get if you go as fast like I like to go, you don't get a lot of range. I think I get 20, maybe 30 miles on that bike. So I can't use it for dashing at all because I definitely go further than that. But it's a beautiful bike. Beautiful bike. Expensive though. You're going to spend a lot of money. I personally regret buying it. Again, I rarely use it. Can't sell it. No one's going to give me the money that I spent for that bike. I have a hard time selling it. Here's the deal with aftermarket bikes, right? I sell a lot of bikes, but I have a very hard time selling any bike that's priced over $2,500. If it's over $2,500, man, it's very difficult to sell. You have to find a specific person that wants that specific bike because otherwise it's difficult to move. Couple of things. Magician, as I mentioned, Magician is celebrating their 1-year anniversary. We are about to celebrate on July 15th. We will celebrate 1-year anniversary of this channel. Super excited. We're going to be doing like for the month of June, we're going to be doing a review, a review of the year for the channel. But I'm bringing this up, and let me go on here because I'm going to give you guys the exact numbers. I'm bringing this up because I have two goals two goals for my 1 year anniversary. Number one, right now we're sitting at 1,868 subscribers. I want to hit 2,000 subscribers by my anniversary. That's number one. We're at 865,000 views on this channel. I want to hit that 1 million view marker by my anniversary on July 15th. So if you guys can do me a huge favor, anytime I post something, share it, comment, tell your friends about it. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers by July 15th, which is my 1 year anniversary of this channel. And watch my videos, please, because I want to get to that 1 million views by that anniversary as well. Anyway, my beautiful people, hope you enjoy the review. Let me answer a few more questions. When you think about it, it would be incredibly useful if a company would let you customize an e-bike for every part instead of being forced into preset models. Listen, most companies are going proprietary. That's one of the. I agree with you. That is a problem in bike with the e-bike industry. I get why companies do it, because you're forced to, either deal with them directly or you have to get a new bike. But there's two companies out there that don't do it. The guys over at Area 13, their bikes are not proprietary. You can buy their bikes, and you can, if something breaks or something, you can use aftermarket parts for their bikes. And then the guys over in the North, Spark Cycles, the Brute, which is, I think, it's a phenomenal bike. Also not proprietary. You can buy their bikes, and if you want to put aftermarket parts, you want to mod it, you can do whatever. Very easy to do because they don't use proprietary parts. That was a great question you just asked, or great comment. They said, why 9 you riding most? What is, I don't know what that is. What am I riding most? What am I riding most now? If that's the question, my Magician Alpha is the one, the two bikes that I ride constantly. My Magician Alpha Mini and my Aoki AQ177, the modded one, the one with the 5,000 watt motor. Those are the two bikes that I ride the most. The ones I ride subsequent to that I ride a lot, especially if I'm going on adventure rides, are my Aoki's, my AA. If I'm doing an adventure ride or I'm going to go far, I'm taking the Aoki. Or if I'm going to be riding all day, like running errands. Like, for example, a lot of times I'll dash. Then after dashing, I'll run my errands, my appointments and all that. I'll take my Aoki because I can dash with it for a couple of hours, make some money. Then I can go out and run my errands and not have to worry about going and charging, because I can do that all day long. You don't own a bike, but that was a great point on your part, because that is a major problem in the e-bike industry, is that a lot of bikes, and as the years have gone by, they become more proprietary. I sure thought about building a kit e-bike frame. Yeah, I would. I use my Uhura for distance. Listen, you talked about the Uhura. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. Let me share my screen, because there's an Uhura bike that I'm a huge fan of. It's been around for a while, but man, number one, there's very few people who have it. I've seen very few reviews on it, which is, I'm going to do a review on this bike, even though I've had the bike for a while. Let me share my screen, because I want you guys to see this bike. Because like I said, I've been a big fan of the bike, but I am shocked that very few people know about it. I've talked to people about it, and a lot of people have said that they didn't even know it existed. So let me share my screen. Let me see if I can get it up. Hold on a second. Shoot. All right. So if you were not aware, Ehora makes the Romeo 2, but the Romeo 2 is a 20-inch version. Now, it's a 20 by 4.5-inch fat tire. So it's fatter than that front tire. It's bigger than a lot of them out there. Not as big as the new Walkie that has a 5-inch fat, 20 by 5-inch fat tire. This is a 20 by 4-inch fat tire. Guys, I love this bike. From the Ehora line, this is my go-to bike. I love the Juliet series of bikes. I think they're phenomenal. When it comes to range and speed, the Juliet series, I'm a big fan of them. I have the Juliet Pro and the Juliet Pro 2. The difference between the two is that the Juliet Pro 2 is a dual motor version, but they're both 60 volt, 70 amp hour bikes. And I believe this is just conspiracy theories here, that Ehora and Anioki are the same company. The styles are the same. The batteries are the same. The difference are the motors. The Anioki motor is more of a direct drive, very quiet, very smooth. The motors on the Ehora bikes are hub, a little noisier. But when it comes to speed, the Ehora bikes are much faster than the Anioki bikes, much faster. And I think they're more, especially when it comes to the moped style seat, not the adjustable. Like the Juliet has the adjustable seats. When it comes to the adjustable seats, like this Romeo, this version is much more comfortable. When I ride this bike, I feel like I'm riding a motorcycle. It gives me a motorcycle feel. Really like it. The only downside to this bike, it's a 52 volt, 60 amp hour battery. The only downside is that it's not that fast. Max speed on this bike for me is 34 miles an hour. The display will say 36, but it's more like 34, close to 35 miles an hour. Not that fast, but it's the same speed that I get on my Anioki AQ177 that's not modded, and it's dual motor, right? This bike is dual motor. So the Anioki AQ177 dual motor and this one, the Romeo 2, are the exact same bikes, except one is has an adjustable seat, AQ177. This one does not have an adjustable seat, but I think this one's more comfortable than the Anioki. The suspension's better. I just think the Romeo 2 is a better bike. And again, now it's pricey. If you look at it, it's $22.29, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the same price as the dual motor Anioki. Let me just confirm that. Let me look up here because let me confirm that real quick. And guys, I apologize about my sinuses. I've been having some really bad sinus problems. What the heck? Here. No, actually, the Anioki AQ177 is on sale, and it's only $18.99 right now. If you guys are looking for that bike, I would pick it up. Now, if you're local, I'm selling my Anioki AQ177, the one that I put the white wall tires on. I'm selling that bike a very discounted price. But right now, Anioki on their website, has it for $1,899. Original price is $2,099, so it is cheaper than this Romeo 2, because the Romeo 2 is $22.99. But I just think this Romeo 2 is a better bike. I just love it. It just feels better, with the exception, again, of the motor. If you don't like a loud motor, then don't get that. I know some people say Kryptonite just said the seat is horrible. I don't think so. I think that seat, it's comfortable. It's narrow, not like the A8s where that seat's too wide. But anyway, 20 by 4.5-inch fat tires. It comes with really good tires, dual motor. I love this bike. It's really one of the bikes that I think is really underrated. You don't see, very few people have it. Very few reviews out there on this bike. I just hope Ehora upgrades it to a 60 volt 70 amp hour, or the 60 volt 70 amp hour version of this bike, because I would buy that today. If they had it in a 60 volt and make it faster, just like their Juliet bikes. The Juliet bikes, they're fast, man. A lot of torque. I would buy it in a heartbeat. Now, again, here's the difference between the two. One, it's a hub motor or hub gear motor, and it's louder. The ride itself is not as smooth as the Aoki ride, but I just like the power. I like the way the bike feels, the way I can maneuver it better. It really gives me a motorcycle style feel when I ride it. So I'm a big fan of it. All right. Let's see. We got any more questions? The Ehora seat is awful. Yeah, we discussed it. I personally love the seat. The Juliet seat I'm talking about, too hard. The Juliet seat. Oh yeah, the original Juliet seat on it, I changed it as well. I seen that one. Happy TV reviewed it. I have not seen him review it. I've only seen a couple, and he wasn't it, but I'll look it up to see what he has. Maybe they have the same parent company. They have to have this. Ehora and Aoki have to have the same parent company. Erica, great channel, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It said I've had some bad sinuses issue. Yeah, Mike, you and me both, man. I've been struggling with my sinuses the last week. What else? I know, Mike, you had the 2023 version of the Juliet, but I think you had the, correct me if I'm wrong, did you have the single real motor version? And it was the Juliet 2 or 1. Put it in the comments. And rebuilt it. I noticed wobble off the box. Yeah, I can tell you that 2023 and 2024, Ehora, as well as Aoki, and this is why I think they're the same company, they were horrible. Lots of quality control issues. They were really, really bad. But since then, especially the newer version, the Q4 version, 2025 Q4, and definitely the 2026, they have made leaps and bounds improvements on their bikes. That's why I'm back on board. I used to not, like, I never talked about Ehora or Aoki a year ago because the quality control was just really bad. But now I'm on board. They have really done a really good job. And like Aoki, for example, I own every Aoki version of their bikes, with the exception of their 26 by 4-inch fat tire bikes or 26 by 4.5 fat tire bikes. Those big ass bikes, I don't own them. I don't like them. They're way too big. Okay. 2023 and 2024 Ehora, as well as Aoki, have to have the same parent company. Ehora and Aoki have to have the same parent company. The Juliet seat I'm talking about, 2 hard. The Juliet 2 is $22.99. And I think you had the Juliet 2 or 1. Put it in the comments. Any other questions before I sign off? I still think added the pedal kit, but with the added pedal kit, I didn't even know you can add a pedal kit. That is interesting. Interesting. If I can add a pedal kit to that 72-volt bike that you're talking about there, Kryptonite, I will get it and put it on my channel. So I'm going to look into that. If you can do me a favor, if you have information on that, send me an email because I will look into that and I will definitely get that bike if I can put a pedal kit on it. Because I really like that bike. I'm with you. I love it. 100 amp hour battery on that bike. That is crazy. All right. So it's going to be an Ani-Oki or Ihora bike. Only because you had an Ihora bike, I'm going to say it's Ihora that you're going to be putting on. Well, either way, I'm excited, very excited for you because I think you're going to be very happy with either bike. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I know a lot of people don't like them. A lot of people complain about them, but I'm a huge fan. Anyway, my beautiful people, I love you guys. Don't forget, ride, hustle, repeat. See you on the next one. See you next Wednesday.